Why? Because we don't want to deal with the actual truth. Why? Because the truth creates a responsibility for us. And you can't fulfill your responsibilities unless you're strong. You can't, the little kid who stands in front of all authority, all power, all resources, and all love has to look that parent in the eye and say, I cannot tell a lie. I took the cookie. It's that small mind that can only look at right now. It's the big mind that can say, that can look long term. And long term sometimes is, what happens to me if I lie here? Not just do I get away with it or not. What happens to me inside? What does that create in me? What kind of a character does that put forth in the world? That's the hard part, because to tell the truth, you have to be strong enough to absorb the consequences of it. Think about that. When we lie, we're trying to deflect the consequences. We're trying to get out of the way of the consequences. To tell the truth, you have to stand in front of the consequences. You have to stand in front of the parent and tell them, yes, I stole the cookie. Yes, I did this thing. Yes, I stole this car. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. You're stronger than you realize. You're better than you realize. You're smarter than you realize. You're not as ugly as you imagine yourself to be. You're not any of these negative things that we impose upon ourselves. And people are not talking about you as much as you think they are. Or maybe they're talking about you more than you think they are. But if that's the case, it's probably good stuff. The thing that stops us is ourselves. We just don't believe in ourselves. We just don't believe in ourselves. And I'm telling you that if you don't believe in yourself, you're believing in something that's not true. That's the ultimate damage that's being done by not following the truth. I'm so ugly. No, you're not. That's just not true. I'm stupid. No, you're not. That's just not true. You're believing a lie. And it's going to change the course of your life because you won't do the things that you could do because you won't believe in yourself to pursue them. Why apply for that job if you don't think it's possible to get it? Why would you think it's possible if you don't think you're good enough? Why tell the truth if you don't believe there's anything worth fighting for? There's anything worth standing up for? Those are the varying degrees of intelligence. So a little kid is able to realize, if I lie with my words, if I say something that's not true, I can convince this person that reality isn't reality. So if I ate the cookie and they ask me, of course the kid probably didn't even realize he's got chocolate chip on his face. If I lie and say I didn't eat the cookie, that person will believe it. So you've created an illusion and then I can get away with it. Dope, awesome. Now that kid understands something that other little kids don't understand, which is something that's important for all of us to really understand, which is how powerful language is. That language can construct a world. That our language is used to describe the world, and you can control how people see the world. You can control how people describe the world, how people therefore act within the world by controlling language. This is why it's so important to not let people control language, not to impose ideas on you. Because if you allow that to happen, then they control the world. They change the narrative. They change how it is that you're going to behave. You don't have to force a person to do something. You just have to change the way they think a little bit, and you'll get people to behave in dramatically different ways. Now, a little kid can see that in that short term, but then you're saying that in the long term, it doesn't actually work out for you. That's what takes a greater intelligence. The general intelligence can say, look, I can change the situation right now. But it's the very deep intelligence that then asks the question, but will I really be changing this in the long run? Or am I making things worse with this lie? And of course, as we talked about many times, you are making things worse, right? Because first off, if the person finds out, now they're not going to trust you. But beyond that, you now internalize in yourself this lie. And like you're saying, that you have to be strong in order to tell the truth, but you've also got to be strong to tell the truth to yourself, to analyze yourself, to see what you are, to see who you are. This is one of the reasons that as soon as these conversations come up, you'll see people in classes completely shut down and distract themselves on purpose. It's worth noting, by the way, the kinds of things that make people go, la, 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 and cover up their ears and not want to hear what's being said. Because if I was talking about Santa Claus, it wouldn't bother us one bit. If I was talking about, casting magic spells, that wouldn't bother us one bit. But as soon as we start talking about telling the truth and what it means about us and what we're afraid to acknowledge about ourselves, you'll see that we then kind of tune out and try to avoid those kinds of those discussions because we're afraid of what they're going to say about us if we actually do. And that means that we've probably given it just a little bit. Like if you tell lies, what are you? You're a liar. Yeah. If you steal something, what are you?
Stealer.
No, that's if you play football in Pittsburgh. You're a thief. Yeah. Yeah, a stealer is you play football from Pittsburgh. But if you steal something, you're a thief. How many times do you have to steal something before you're a thief? Once? Yeah, once. How many times do you have to lie before you're a liar? Just once. And so now you can try to go, but I tell the truth way more often. Okay, but how often now do you lie though? And is that in fact a lie? Like if I were to ask you, if you're told a lie, yeah, what did that make you? A liar? Okay, have you ever stolen anything? No. Not even one thing, not even a pencil, nothing? No. I don't know if I can believe you. You've already told me you're a liar. Well, I mean, I've stolen, then that's how you know someone's lying, because they'll say, well, if you change the tone of your voice, then you know that you're lying. I didn't lie. You lied. I mean, I didn't steal it. You stole it. Well, it's because we're never underestimate our ability to rationalize anything, but understand what's at the core of all of that. A little kid who's standing in front of their parent, looking up at them, who's a towering figure, who is the center of their explored world, who provides all their resources, gives them shelter, safety, love, hopefully, and they run afoul of this person, and they're standing in front of them, and the parent is looking down them, they're looking up at the parent, and the parent asks them, where did the cookie go? And the little kid goes, I don't know. It was the cat you gave me. It was something else. It wasn't me. Oh, what have you done? Because you're standing in front of all authority, all resource, what you perceive to be anyway, as all power and goodness. And you said, what's more important to me is this cookie at this moment. You don't think of it this way, but that goes back to it's an illusion. Is the cookie really the most important thing to you, in the world? No, it's because of our limited understanding. And that's why truth is so important, because it either expands or it limits our understanding of the world around us. In other words, what do we glob onto? What's true? What's real? I mean, it's like I talk about, what's so controversial about me? I've had this conversation before. Students say, "Oh, Scanlon, that guy's controversial." What kind of shit do I do that's controversial? Yeah. Well, I come in here and I tell you guys, live rightly and forthrightly. Speak the truth as best you know it. Be honest. Be a character that's worth admiring. You're capable of more than you realize. You're capable of more than you'd ever give yourself credit for. The world is yes, life is suffering, but the world is worth serving, and the world is worth improving. What do I tell you that's so controversial? I know what it is. It's the fact that I said the word shit at the beginning of this sentence. Yeah, because people will lie to you all day, but as long as they don't curse, then it's, at least it's professional. What's so controversial about it? What's controversial about it is that it's true. Throughout the whole year, what have I said that's a lie? Well, it's because you tell jokes. We know what jokes are, right? What are jokes? Jokes. Well, I don't like your joke. Yeah, what's it really about? What's the it to which you're referring? Have you guys ever had that thing before where someone's gotten mad, or you've done something wrong, someone's gotten mad at you, and you've told them, hey, watch how you talk to me. Then what the hell? You just stole my car or whatever. Well, dude, you're talking to me like that. We're not ready to have this conversation because you know you're dead wrong. So you try to find something to stop that conversation. And that's because you're standing right in the face of all reality. And you know that the only thing that you can do against the face of reality, you're caught. All you can do is say, what's that over there? Is that Elvis? To try to distract from the situation. Well, hold on, the way you're talking to me right now, I'm not sure if I don't think I approve of that. Why? Because we don't want to deal with the actual truth. Why? Because the truth creates a responsibility for us. And you can't fulfill your responsibilities unless you're strong. You can't. The little kid who stands in front of all authority, all power, all resources, and all love has to look that parent in the eye and say, I cannot tell a lie. I took the cookie. What's going to happen to you if you admit to taking the cookie?
Punishment.
Really, they're going to punch you? They're going to Spartan kick you for taking the cookie? You took my cookie. What's going to happen to you if you tell a lie and then you get caught? It's that small mind that can only look at right now. It's the big mind that can look long term. And long term sometimes is what happens to me if I lie here. Not just do I get away with it or not. What happens to me inside? What does that create in me? What kind of a character does that put forth in the world? You know, we get so caught up on like who the president is or who the mayor is or who the police are, but we don't give a whole lot of thought as to the person we're putting into the street every day. You know, the person who is going to have the biggest impact in your life is not going to be the person who's sitting in the White House or the person who's sitting in that police car or the person who's sitting at the desk in this classroom. It's going to be you. We don't like hearing that because now that creates a responsibility in us, but it also creates an incredible freedom because now you have the freedom to create the person you want to be. And of course, you're going to have to be strong to do that, and that's the hard part. That's the hard part because to tell the truth, you have to be strong enough to absorb the consequences of it. Think about that. When we lie, we're trying to deflect the consequences. We're trying to get out of the way of the consequences. To tell the truth, you have to stand in front of the consequences. You have to stand in front of the parent and tell them, yes, I stole the cookie. Yes, I did this thing. Yes, I stole this car. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. Of course, there's a weakness perhaps that created that problem in the first place. Why couldn't we resist the cookie? Or we're 3 years old. I'm in my 40s. I still can't resist the cookies. Yeah. Sometimes you never grow out of it. But then once you've now kind of given into that, now you've got to absorb the consequences of the lie. We compound that, and so much of life is like that. And like I said before, life is suffering. And I hope you understand why I tell you that. It's not because I want you to have a very dark view of the world. It's quite the opposite. I want you to be aware because I don't want you to find out for the first time when you get out. And I always hear the people say, life's not what people said it was going to be. Oh, shut up. Who'd you listen to? You know, did it correspond to reality? And besides which, all of a sudden now you want to start listening to people? You know, we'll spend so much of our lives trying to ignore what people tell us, the wisdom that people give us, and then we'll stand there in our 20s and be like, this is not what people told me it was going to be. But you ignored everything else that people told you. You listened to that one little thing. Whoever told you life was going to be easy? God, do you want life to be easy? Do you want it to be a cakewalk? Do you really? What do you do when something is easy and a cakewalk? I'll ask that question because some of us in this classroom haven't done jack shit all year. I don't even know if it's in this classroom. I have students who are sitting on 0% because I don't go over there like, hey, come on, get to work. They clearly don't have a parent who's pushing them to do their stuff. They've got no pressure in their life to do anything. So what do? Nothing. Do the math on that. 5 hours a week. We're in here for 36 weeks. That's a lot of hours. Then you multiply that if you have more than one class, 2 classes you do it in, 3 classes in. It's hundreds of hours of us just sitting in a desk doing nothing. And so what do you do when you don't have any pressure, when life is so easy? What do we typically do? Nothing. And was it really so enjoyable sitting in a desk? Because you came over here. Why did you show up? Because they make me? Oh. So you just show up? What are you going to do next? You do a little dance for us too? You going to shine my shoes for me also? Because you're letting people tell you what to do all day? Except for that one thing. Can't make me work, but they can make you show up. Yeah, okay. So we know what you are, but you might as well get something out of it. Life is suffering, yes, so what? What else is it? Now what? Life is difficult, true, now what? Some terrible tragedy occurred, great, now what? Something great happened in my life, cool, now what? It's the now what that really matters. You're gonna suffer. You're gonna get something out of it or not? You have that choice, you can't avoid it. Now you just have to ask yourself, what do you get out of it? Things are going to go well for you. You have some good times. Things will go well for you. So now the question is, what do you do now? Do you enjoy it? Do you get something out of it? Or do you just let it pass by? It's these constant things in life that you don't have control over. But what you do have control over is yourself. Do you tell the truth? If not, find out why. I just don't want to deal with the consequences. You're too weak to them. So make yourself stronger. Not as a criticism. It's not like, oh, you're too weak. He definitely means it that way. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you, like, man, make yourself stronger. Wouldn't it be great to be able to walk around and say whatever you want to say? Okay, let me tell you, it is great. It is great. It is great. Because what are you going to do? What's someone going to do if you tell the truth? Am I going to get canceled? Why do you let people cancel you? It's so stupid. Oh, the mob comes after you, and what's the first thing you do? Let me go apologize. Really? To a group of people that if you encountered them individually wouldn't have the balls to say a single word to you? You're gonna capitulate to them. Well, it's because I said something wrong. Don't we all? Why is yours so special? Well, because a mob decided it was. You know, these things only have consequences if you let them. And we capitulate because we're afraid. Why are we afraid? Because intuitively we feel like we're weak. You'll be surprised. Stand up to the mob. Here's what typically happens. The mob goes home. You're going to go find an easier target, like any other bully. You know? And then you're going to find something about yourself, which is that you have the capability to tell the truth. You have the capacity to be strong. You know, like I was talking about last period after the camera stopped, I was saying that I think that's the thing that stops us from achieving as much as we possibly could. That I don't think that we believe in ourselves. I think that we oftentimes think that we're not smart enough, or that we're not good enough. We're not good looking enough, or we're not resourceful enough, or people just don't like us. Man, it's all just things chattering in the back of our heads. You know, you're stronger than you realize. You're better than you realize. You're smarter than you realize. You're not as ugly as you imagine yourself to be. You're not any of these negative things that we impose upon ourselves. And people are not talking about you as much as you think they are. Or maybe they're talking about you more than you think they are. But if that's the case, it's probably good stuff. You know? So the thing that stops us is ourselves. We just don't believe in ourselves. We just don't believe in ourselves. And I'm telling you that if you don't believe in yourself, you're believing in something that's not true. That's the ultimate damage that's being done by not following the truth. I'm so ugly. No, you're not. That's just not true. I'm stupid. No, you're not. That's just not true. You're believing a lie. And it's going to change the course of your life because you won't do the things that you could do because you won't believe in yourself to pursue them. Why apply for that job if you don't think it's possible to get it? Why would you think it's possible if you don't think you're good enough? Why tell the truth if you don't believe there's anything worth fighting for? There's anything worth standing up for? And you have to believe in yourself. And sometimes if you ask, like, how do you do that? There's ways to do that. There's strategies that you can adopt that will help you to believe in yourself more. But, you know, the sooner you can do that, the sooner you can get about the real life that you were meant to live. So, questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? I've got a lot more to say, but I'm already at 17 minutes. So 6th graders are gonna get it, man. I don't care if it takes an hour. Right. Go ahead and put those away.